I think Arsenal are really, really good, and I'm worried that people are going to miss it. Now, it's the 27th of October. It's so early in the season, I know. But we could be, in the moment, right now, witnessing a bit of history with this team. 6 points ahead of City, 7 ahead of Liverpool. We look the most consistent team. We look the best team. And let me ask you all, when was the last time you genuinely felt Arsenal looked quite comprehensively the best team in the league? When was the last time you thought that? I'll tell you, never in my Arsenal supporting lifetime. I've never known Arsenal to be quite comprehensively the best team in the league. And I'm watching this happen. And I'm coming away from the Palace game feeling quite good about everything. Thinking, yeah, tricky opponents, Palace. Have had really good results against City, Liverpool, Chelsea over Glasner's time. Have just won the FA Cup. You know, they play a back five with these wing backs they get forward. Tricky opponents. No, we weren't scintillating, but we found a way on a weekend where Liverpool and City didn't and couldn't deal with the problems being thrown at them, the Premier League is throwing at them, that Arsenal are not only dealing with very well, and you know, I'm talking set pieces and things like that, physicality, but actually look like trendsetters in this space for it. When was the last time you felt Arsenal were trendsetters? When was the last time you felt Arsenal looked the best team comprehensively in the league? Now, am I sitting here saying we have no problems? No. The open play chance creation, we're needing a little bit more there. The understanding between the attack and Gyökeres, while I think it's better than people are giving it credit for, it's missing a little something. Arsenal still need to click. Arsenal still need to go through the gears. But have Arsenal been this way in every game? No, I think Atletico, Leeds, West Ham, Olympiacos, Newcastle away. I think we played some brilliant football. This season. I think we played some ugly football when the league has required it. I ask all this. I have no notes in front of me. All I've got is my laptop, recording the mic. I have no notes. This is like as candid a video as I've maybe ever done on the Goonerverse. But I just feel like we're in danger of missing it or giving the credit after it's done. And I guess that's kind of what it's football media, isn't it? As being fans, you react to the result. So maybe people aren't going to really enjoy Arsenal being this good until we go and lift the trophies. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I have been critical of this team while we've been terrific and while we've been like brilliant but not just quite getting over the line. But I always think when we're critical, we need to kind of understand why we're critical and we need to look at those around us. So last season, I was critical of Liverpool. I was critical of us because of comparing us to Liverpool's chance creation from open play. Saying, well, look at the chaos they caused. This is clearly working in the league. Why are we not playing with a little bit more risk? But you look at the league this season, where it's moved towards set plays more, it's moved towards physicality. And I sit there and I think, Arsenal look not only the most equipped to deal with this, but we look like the trendsetters. Now I ask, when was the last time we looked like trendsetters? I think the way we inverted Zinchenko to some degree set a trend. I think the centre-backs at full-back to some degree set a trend. So I think Arsenal have done things that Arteta's, again, I've credit for, and I've talked about that in a video on the Goonerverse only last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, so go check that out. But I think with set pieces, I think with the physicality we've got in this team, we to a degree have set a trend, and I think the league are following it, and we look the best equipped not only to adopt that tactic, which is more direct, using the physicality more, causing a little bit more chaos from set pieces, we also look the most ready to deal with it when it's thrown back at us. So people have been asking questions like, is Gyökeres the guy? Are we not disappointed with the way he's playing? We'll talk about that. Is it sustainable? Another goal from a set piece to beat Palace, is that sustainable? And I sit there and I think, okay, some fair questions, and I'll try and answer those now in this video. But I'm also asking you all, it feels more sustainable than our rivals who aren't dealing with it. Like, I feel more confident that Arsenal can keep dealing with these problems because they've shown they can. Then City and Liverpool suddenly find a way to deal with them when they've shown this season they can't. I don't think Arsenal are perfect right now, but don't let perfect get in the way of really enjoying what we do really well. Because when I think of everything that the game is about, Arsenal are like the best in the world at most of those things. I think we are one of the most physically imposing teams in world football right now. In terms of that highest bracket, highest level, teams are really struggling to deal with us physically. Even Newcastle the other day, ultimately, we overcame that hurdle and got the win. Out of possession, our press is sensational. Our ability to high press, mid block, low block is brilliant. Out of possession, we are the best team in the world, and that has been said for a while. From set pieces, need I say more? We can all see it week in, week out. When we didn't have a way to play through Palace, we found a way to go over the top of them and start to gain territory. And then, when we actually weren't scoring from a direct set piece like a header from Gabriel, or the ball over the top wasn't happening, or we weren't finding the combinations down the right, which worked, for example, against Atletico, we had Eze on the edge of the box pull out a moment with a brilliant finish to find a corner. Does Ødegaard pull out that moment? Maybe others do. But this time, and I love Ødegaard, I think he's been brilliant this season when fit, but this time we had a 10 in a different position who could give us a different answer. I think Arsenal do so much of the game well. Part of that is mentality too. Going again, Fulham away, Atletico at home, Palace at home. Yes, 2 home games in there. Yes, 2 teams that are not, the typical big 6 in the Premier League, but hard games. And we've come through them with clean sheets, with 2-1 nils and a 4-0 win. 3 clean sheets, sorry. And at any point did we look like we deserved to lose those games? No. At any point did we look like we weren't going to win, or, okay, maybe at points we weren't going to win, but you get my point. At no point did I think we deserved to lose. And I've come out of them going, yeah, on the balance of play, we deserve to win those games. And you can't say that about Liverpool. When Liverpool had 5 wins in a row, people were going, yeah, they've been lucky. No one is saying Arsenal lucky being at the top. And I just fear a little bit that we as fans might miss the moment. Now, it's still so early. There's still things to improve. There's nothing wrong with picking out the things that aren't quite right and saying, well, keep improving on that, because you can always get better. But I fear that Arsenal are doing a lot of good where our rivals aren't, and we have our own teething issues. We have our own adapting to do. Zubimendi, Eze, Gyökeres in that spine all arrived this summer. And then you've got Mosquera coming in, playing a lot of minutes. He's a part of that too. And I just feel like we have our own teething issues, our own adaptation period, but we have a foundation, a platform that's so good. And we're not really giving us credit for it. And when I say we, some are. Some will be in the comments of this video saying, I'm feeling good about it, James, and that's fine. And others will say, look, I'm not critical, I'm enjoying the moment, I just think there's areas we can improve. But I definitely came away from that Palace win thinking, damn, criticism for Zubimendi, real criticism for Gyökeres. Like, they must be doing something right. They must be doing something right. Because all the elements of the game that you ask of these players, okay, we talk about on the ball, technical quality, but their ability to press, their understanding of when to drop into a tactical mid-block, their understanding of, winning every single duel, their fight to the very end. What team in the league has fight like this? This team are running their heart out week in, week out. I would love to see the kilometres covered, the distance covered per team in the Premier League. Look, maybe we're not the highest. I haven't seen the numbers, but I bet we're absolutely up there. People, I mentioned earlier, people talking about sustainability. But since Nicolas Jova arrived in 2021, we have been one of the best teams statistically for scoring, and I think for conceding too, but for scoring set pieces. Year in, year out, this is our 5th, 6th season of it, whatever the number is. That suggests it's sustainable. People talk about Gyökeres. People talk about, not being impressed with him. But I see a team that's winning football matches with him leading the line. I see a player who's working extremely hard, who's running the channels, who's giving a wall pass to the players, and the players around him are benefiting from having him in the team. And I think we're in danger of basically longing for something else, longing for a different style of football, longing for more entertainment in our games. And look, I think Gyökeres should improve. I think our football can get better. I think there's still levels to go for Gyökeres and our football, and there's a lot of things that we can still keep getting better at. But I think there's a difference between, well done, keeping an eye on that, but let's keep moving, fair play. There's a difference between that and then just not completely acknowledging what Arsenal are doing great, and appreciating that we're maybe doing it a different way, that doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't really good. Like I said, I had no notes for this video. It was kind of no data, no graphics, nothing to pull up. This is kind of just like candid Monday morning thoughts I had about the weekend, and about the way Arsenal are perceived as the team who are trend-setting in the league and dealing with everything that's being thrown at them better than anybody else, and showing the most consistency, and doing it with a new spine and new players. It's interesting how we're being talked about a lot of the time amongst ourselves and our own fan base, how it is compared to Liverpool and City, who aren't getting it done. And look, maybe that's the grace that winning the title buys you. Maybe when you're the champions, which Liverpool are, or you've won 4 of the last 5, ultimately people will just kind of give you the benefit of the doubt because you've done it. And maybe while you're the team that hasn't, there'll always be that extra scrutiny. And I hear that. But also, like, don't miss the moment. Because I think Arsenal are a very, very good team now. Not we're doing fine and we're going to be a great team. I think we are now, today, a great team. And I think the team deserve credit for everything they're doing in terms of work rate, but in terms of tactics too, in terms of the position they're in terms of the way they've reinvented the game a little bit, whilst also acknowledging that they will probably know that there's areas they can do better. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I've seen Arsenal be very, very good and still done videos where I've been critical. So I don't want to be a hypocrite saying everything's great, how could you possibly be critical? That's not what I'm saying. I just felt like for the position we were in and the way we're handling this season compared to others, the criticism was just like the critique I saw of certain players and of our style of football. I just thought, like, there's querying it and there's having questions, there's being a little bit concerned, and then there's like kind of really battering this team for ultimately like continuing to win and put points on the board. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I don't know. So I like to plan videos. It gives me a little bit more structure. I'll ask this question of Sharoy as well on the Goonerverse podcast, which is out tomorrow. But I'd love to know your thoughts. I was sort of gathering mine as I did this video. I just fear we're in danger of missing the good and the moment we're in. But maybe that's just easy to say after the wins we've had and the points we built. Maybe the minute that gap is 1 or 2 points, I won't feel this way. Let's see. Big thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the Goonerverse if you haven't yet. Hit the like button. And yeah, different kind of video. Let me know if you liked it. Yeah, more to come on Goonerverse news. The podcast out tomorrow. And we'll do some analysis later this week, probably on Gyökeres. All right, big thanks. Catch you in a bit.